Hey, Jeff here. Shopping malls and shopping centers were the juggernauts for all types of purchases until the online retail marketplace took over, which left a lot of these shopping malls with empty storefronts and sadness inside. Which is good for me and for us because we're going to go all around the country today and read some one-star reviews about these shopping malls. And if you like this idea, make sure you leave a like, and while you're down there, leave a comment about what you want to see me work on next, and subscribe if you haven't, because if not, I might disappear into the void and that would really stink for my mom. Alright, without further ado, let's read these reviews. We're going to be doing these reviews from the highest rated to the lowest rated ones. So we're going to start off with the 4.3 rating at the Parkway Place in Huntsville, Alabama. Parkway Place was built in 2002 in the same place as the old Parkway City Mall. Huntsville, Alabama has a population of 215,006, which makes it the largest city in all of Alabama, so it's a big city with an upscale mall. Let's read these one-star reviews. The first review comes from everyone's favorite form of cabbage. That's right, it's kale. I don't know if this mall just hates handicapped people or what, but the elevator's been broken for months, and 2 of the 3 escalators are broken. We gave up after that, so I'm not sure about the third. I was glad Huntsville still had a mall and excited to go, but if you have walking disabilities, don't bother. I, Jeff, personally do not believe that this mall hates handicapped people. I believe it probably doesn't have any money to fix escalators, because I feel like an escalator is a pretty expensive thing, but also a broken elevator, you need to have something like that fixed, because you do have people with disabilities. I'm sure nobody really comes here from like any of the actual agencies that check that. I'm not too sure. Let's keep reading. The next review is from Alex, and he had a wild situation happen to him, so stay tuned. My car disappeared out of the parking lot outside Dillard's here today while I was shopping. I called Huntsville police and was told that someone was driving through the lot scanning plates and that my car was supposed to be repoed. So they let them take it? My car was not supposed to be repoed, and thus I'm wasting my time on a wild goose chase figuring out what happened to my car. The car also had clothing, books, and medications, which are now also obviously missing. The police were otherwise completely useless and would not take a report or tell me where my car had been taken. Anyone who shops here should be aware that the local cops are apparently okay with random people scanning plates and stealing cars out of parking lots as long as they claim to be a repo guy. Parkway Place, are you aware this is happening in your parking lots? Do you support having customer cars stolen in broad daylight? This is a little bit of a confusing one to me. If you think you know what happened, let me down below, but I'll take my best shot at it. From what I could gather, somebody is going around the parking lot. Maybe it's the police, maybe it's not the police, and they're scanning plates, and his plate came up as potentially someone who had to get repoed or someone who had to get repoed, so the towing company came and repoed him, and it wasn't supposed to be repoed, at least according to Alex, it's not supposed to be repoed. So do you think he's telling the truth or not? I guess that's the bottom line. I'm not too sure. What do you think? Alright, next review. The next review comes from Lily. Great stores, but they let the wild teenagers run around trashing the place. Is security non-existent here? Yeah, where the heck is Paul Blart when you need him, or that other Seth Rogen movie, Observe and Report or something, where it's like the same exact movie as the other mall cop movie? Anyways, but yeah, there is like no security at these malls, and teenagers running all over the place. What is this, the 1980s? Alright, next review. Next up is Rick. Santa pictures. Only 2 photos for $59 is ridiculous, and didn't even cut them apart. What a racket it has become. Background is all red, blends with his suit. Things sure have changed. We'll never do that again. Alright, someone else out there will have to let me know how much it normally is to get your photos done by Santa, but it feels like to me getting your pictures done with Santa has always been a racket because it's just a guy in a Santa suit. Sorry to break that immersion for you. I'm sorry that I had to be the person that told you that, but I could maybe bring my dog sometime, but he would just bark at him because my dog's a little wiener dog and he would not like that. But alright, let's go to the next mall and see if they have any other Santa reviews there. For our next stop, we're going to go to the Cumberland Station Shopping Center in Cookeville, Tennessee. Rocking a 4.2 rating, the Cumberland Station was built in 1993 with a Walmart as its main anchor. It's like a strip mall. And Cookeville, Tennessee has a population of 34,842, so it's a lot smaller than the first place we went to. So let's see these one-star reviews. We'll start off the Cumberland Station with a as good as usual. If you've been disappointed by one, you're disappointed by all. This review sounds kind of philosophical and smart, but it definitely isn't if you think about it at all. It's 100% not as simple as being disappointed by one, disappointed by all when it comes to something like shopping malls. Alright, let's go to the next review. Next up, don't step on me because it's Stephanie. Ugh. Oh my gosh. The sewage was backed up, and instead of closing the store, it was left open and a hose and pump was running. It was instant nausea, and had to get out of there quick. It was disgusting. Close the doors when you have something that vile happening. That had to be a health violation. Gross. So if you've ever been around like porta potties, porta johns, or like those portable bathrooms and they've ever been being pumped out before, you know the smell of sewage like that. Or I mean, in general, you kind of know the smell of sewage, but it's a different kind of smell when it's like open air and it's like everyone's little bits of food mixing together in one big pot of gross stew. Alright, next one. Sometimes when someone does a good job, they say give you a pat on the back. Maybe that person is Patsy. Young people racing and doing donuts in parking lot. Someone hit my car and left. Not a good experience. Do you guys think the young people doing donuts and her car getting hit are related, or did someone hit her car differently? Or do you think she's even telling the truth about that? I don't know. Let me know. I was at a mall years ago, and I remember we were walking into the mall. We could hear a car like, and we're like, what is that sound? We look across the parking lot, and there was like a car doing donuts in a field, and it just sped through the field and went back on the road and took off. It was like a big lifted truck. It was one of those really strange memories when I like closed my eyes. I could still see it happening. It felt so surreal. But alright, let's read the next review. The next review for Cumberland Station comes from... I don't remember even going here, TBH. These are the reviews that just make my head hurt. Why take the time to even leave the review if you've never been there? I know you maybe had a notification about it, but just ignore it. If you've never been there, you've never been there. Just move on with your life like we're moving on to the next mall. Up third on our little adventure here is the Birch Bay Square in Blaine, Washington. Rocking a 4.1 rating on 1,300 reviews. This is like a strip mall, but it still counts because it has the word mall in it. A little about Blaine, Washington. It has a population of 5,884, and in 1970, Canadian protesters conducted a symbolic invasion of Blaine, causing destruction by breaking windows of different businesses and stuff as a protest to the Vietnam War. That's strange. Canadians invading America? Wow, it happened in 1970. Alright, let's read these reviews. First up for the Birch Bay Square is Suzanne. Toilets in women's area were filthy. No paper towel in the stall. Bowls not clean and stained. Ugh. And I was there for global entry. Refused to stay in shop. Clean up the toilets! So I'm guessing the global entry thing has something to do with this being near the Canadian border, but I also like the line, bowls are not clean and stained. So are they not cleaned and they are also not stained, or are they not clean and also stained? That's why grammar matters. Alright, I know grammar doesn't matter in reviews, so let's read the next one. The next 1-star review comes from Vanessa. Today, bought 2 4-packs of corn on the cob. This store hid all the rot on the bottom. It smelled like a sour dish rag. Real nice. I hate this store charging super high prices for garbage. You don't know which store that Vanessa's talking about because she didn't mention the store name and also left this under the generic Birch Bay Square review page, so you have no idea what she's talking about. Wouldn't all of the corn also smell when you went up to it? Like, I've smelled rotten food before, especially like rotten potatoes and stuff, and it has a unique smell to it. Like, how'd you not notice you bought rotten food? There's always context missing. The next review is a whirlwind of confusion, and it comes from Barb. Border yelled at me because he almost hit my dog with a door, saying we were too close to the door. A utility door with no signs on it. Sidewalk is 4 to 6 feet wide. No need to be nasty. Grow up. So I'm guessing they were walking around the building and someone opened up one of those utility doors and it almost hit Barb and her dog, and the person quote unquote yelled at them. I am very confused by this. So confused. And also, why would you leave a review? I mean, they have 125 reviews and they are a local guide, which I think you just need to have a pulse to have. I'm not too sure, but this is one of those really strange reviews, but why I love Google reviews. Ooh, this one makes me tingle. Next up is the Maple 108 Shopping Center in Omaha, Nebraska. It is another one of these like shopping power center type places, but I still count it because it's still kind of like a mall, right? It doesn't really matter. It's all about the reviews. Omaha, Nebraska has a population of 486,051 people. That's a lot of people, 500,000. And it's also where the Reuben sandwich was allegedly invented, and I love a good Reuben sandwich. So let's read these 1-star reviews. Before we get into this review, and you've made it this far into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe because it helps these videos out a ton. Alright, thank you. Let's get into what Ricky had to say. Went to Dollar General. As usual, checkouts are slow and rude. Had an armful of items and I'm standing in line. Lady getting checked out is separating her order at the counter, taking her sweet time. I asked the clerk if they would call for, but they would not. Now, I'm 72 and can't stand for long periods of time. I told them that. They finally called for a second checker. She got up and said, I'll take the next person in line, but everyone behind me went to her line. That was it. I told them if I was not the next person in line, then I would go to the Family Dollar. They said, go ahead. So I set my stuff down on the floor and I walked out. We'll never go back. The Dollar General in 90th north of Maple is just the opposite. You can just imagine what happened. This guy standing in line, handful of items, looking around like, man, there's only one person here. There's only ever like 2 or 3 people ever working at Dollar General in general. And he's standing in line, holding his items, looking around like, can't you guys get someone else? Come on, what's going on here? And the person's like, oh my gosh, it's this guy again. Come on, Ricky, we're trying our best. And they finally bring someone else over, and Ricky wasn't quick enough to jump in the other line. So then he announces, if I'm not next, then I'm leaving. And I mean, if I worked there, I'd be like, all right, man, then just leave. We don't want to work with your hostile butt anyways. And so he just set his stuff on the floor and left. 72 years old, or is he 2 years old? I don't know, but let's move on to the next review. From Ricky to Cindy. It's all the names that end in Y. Let's see what happened to Cindy. Tried the cold brew coffee. I advise not trying it. Horrible. So watered down it barely resembled coffee. The food wasn't much better. Where, Cindy? Where did you eat and drink this at? There's probably 2 or 3 different restaurants or cafes. Let the people know. Why are you being so vague? I don't know. Jeff, don't worry about it. It's okay. Alright, let's read the next one. The next review comes from Honest. What a name. Let's see how honest it is. Strip mall is filled with crime. Many businesses had boarded up windows, which appears to be from break-ins. Every car was super trashy and saw multiple wannabe thugs walking around. Not a safe place to shop. The term wannabe thugs makes me believe that it's just teenagers walking around, because I feel like saying wannabe thugs makes me really think about my grandma when I was younger and being like, man, it looks like a lot of wannabe thugs, and I'd like look at the kids and be like, Grandma, those are like the kids that do the yearbook. What are you talking about? Alright, next review. The next review comes from Vicky, whose profile picture looks like she's standing in front of a couple of urinals inside of a shopping mall, and she had to say, I didn't shop there. Well, thank you, Vicky, for your deep insight. Next up is Karen, and this kind of encompasses the different things you can do at this shopping mall, and they had to say, it cost me $20 to wash and dry my clothes. That's nice to know, Karen. Thank you for letting us know and leaving this 1-star review. Let's move on to the next mall. The next mall up has one of the best names of any mall I've ever heard. It is the Mall at 163rd Street in Miami, Florida. North Miami, Florida, to be more exact. Holding a 3.9 rating, this mall was originally an open-air mall when it was built back in the 60s, and it was slowly converted into a normal shopping mall over the years. Located in North Miami Beach, which has a population of 43,676. North Miami Beach was originally named Fulford by the Sea, which to me is a lot better name, so let's read some 1-star reviews. First up on our Florida stop is Edgar. Horrible. I was in line and this girl Mary came to talk to the cashier and she was ignoring me, and I told her, please, I have to go, and she and Marie started making fun of me, and she said, call the manager and I will find another job. I told her, you call her. I don't work here and you don't give me orders. I've been shopping at this location for years and this is the first time this happened. I was upset, and the reason I did not go to speak to a manager was because I bought some ice cream and it was a hot day. Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Sometimes it feels a little weird in my office yelling things like that to myself, but you know what? I'm okay with it. Besides the misspelling of ice cream, I don't really know what happened to Edgar here. He was being checked out. Another coworker came over and started talking to the cashier. Edgar was in a hurry, got mad they were quote-unquote making fun of him, so they told him to call the manager because they can find another job, but Edgar was too mad and he didn't have time to call a manager because he had ice cream and it was a hot day. Seems like part of the story was made up, and I don't think it's the ice cream part. We've had a Ricky, and now we have Bobby. Chicken bake. Most of the stores are closed, and it's surrounded by homeless people, addicts, and thieves. I'm not referring to the ones by Home Depot getting a job. I'm talking about all the ones sleeping on the other side and stealing from the carnival. The security guard doesn't watch that. Lucky for us and unlucky for Bobby, we have an owner's response. Let's see what they had to say. Hi, Bobby. Sorry for your experience, but new stores are trying to open in the mall, and we are diligently taking care of any other issues. The people outside the mall are actually hardworking people waiting at Home Depot for jobs. There is a patrol car every day outside on the watch for loitering, and we believe we have done a good job cleaning up the place. The mall owner coming down from the rafters calling Bobby a liar. Which side are you on? Let me know in the comments down below. And hit that like button. The next review is a review from Isa. OMG! This is not a mall. There is only a couple of stores in this building, and the rest is like a Walking Dead episode. I don't recommend it. No. Walking into Ross for something you might need real quick is another story entirely. Is going to Ross a different story entirely in a good way or a bad way? I don't really know. Based on the rest of the review, I'm going to say it's a good thing to run in there quickly, but the ellipses make it feel like it's a bad thing, like something bad's going to happen if you run in there quickly. Ooh, something bad's gonna happen. I don't really know, but I love reviews like this. Let's see what happened here for Eric. I was there, and truthfully, it's hard to tell the place is even in business. You could go bowling in the middle of an aisle and not hit a single person. It's so very sad. I first went to the mall, and it was an outdoor mall many years ago. Thank you, Eric, for confirming that this is an outdoor mall like my little bit of research did for me. This review really does generalize the whole state of shopping malls from like 2008 to present day, but let's go to another one. We take a major dip in the ratings here as we go to the College Square Mall in Cedar Falls, Iowa, which holds a 3.2 rating. Ouch. The College Square Mall was built in 1969. Nice. Cedar Falls, Iowa has a population of 40,713. It is famous for being the birthplace to Hall of Fame quarterback in the NFL, Kurt Warner, who actually got his breakthrough by playing with the Iowa Barnstormers in the Arena Football League while he was bagging groceries at a local grocery store. I think it might have even been a Hy-Vee. Eventually, he got his break into the NFL, and the rest is history because he's an NFL Hall of Famer. So, let's read some one-star reviews at the College Square Mall. Even though Jeremiah was a bullfrog, he left this review for this mall. Let's read it. It's hard to rate a nicely decorated empty building. This place is just depressing to walk around in. I have lots of memories of when this place is packed. Now, it's nothing but a shell. If you need some clothes, smelly stuff, or something to eat, then this is your place. I hate to see in such a sad state. I know what clothes are, and I know what something to eat is. That's food. But what is smelly stuff? What does that mean? Does that mean the place just smells? I'm very confused by that. What do you guys think smelly stuff is? Alright, next review. The next review doesn't come from Bill, it comes from William. Common mistake. Let's see what he had to say. There's barely any businesses here anymore. It's a sad empty space these days. 15 years ago, this place was teeming with activity and definitely the place to go to get everything you needed in one place. There's no Scheels, Yonkers, JCPenney's, or Dillard's anymore. It's a sad relic of the 90s, and I don't think there is anything that can be done to revive the place. William left this review in like either 2001 or 2002, so 15 years ago before that was that 2007 era, which is like the prime time for malls. Right when the recession hit, everything went downhill for like that retail shopping, but I really wish there was a way to revive retail shopping and that experience, but there really isn't much to replace the ease of just being able to click a button on your phone. But let's go to the next review. When I was a kid, Freddy vs. Jason sounded like a really cool movie, but this review just comes from Jason, has nothing to do with that. Not even sure why it still has electricity to it. About the only thing you can do is get food, and it's nothing to write home about. Yeah, what are your options at a mall? Usually you got like a Sbarro, you got like maybe one or two different like Asian cuisine places, maybe a fast food place like a Taco John's or a Subway. Back at my mall, we used to have a Burger King at my mall, and you could get Burger King before going to a movie, but that Burger King's been gone for a long time, but the movie theater's still there. Alright, next review. No, it's not a Ford, it's a Dodge Hemi. This next review is from Hemi. a shadow of its old self. This mall is sad at best. Sometimes I accidentally find myself wandering around it after eating at Hoo Hot to burn off some calories. Man, I love me some Hoo Hot. I love the idea of sometimes accidentally finding yourself wandering around somewhere, just like having a moment of like awakening and being like, wait, how am I in the mall again? Oh, why is my stomach so full of food? Did I go to Hoo Hot and now I'm wandering around the mall again to burn off the excess calories? Am I Hemi? That's what I believe happened to Hemi. Let's see what happened to Cecilia. This is not a mall. It is sadness within a building. Pizza's good though. Mall pizza for Evs. I might have been onto something with Sbarro's there, but you can get better pizza from almost anywhere. To go to a mall and to stop there just to eat is not something that's ever really been in my repertoire, unless I was with like a large group of people. That being said, the mall in my city is a nightmare to get in and out of. Like, if you're going there just to eat, you might be spending like 8 minutes at like the stop signs and stoplights to get into the mall area because it's just like a very bad congested area. And you've made it to the end of the video, and if you've liked me this far, you might like me again, so make sure you subscribe on your way out, and YouTube thinks you'll like this video on screen now. Also, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.